yeah. Yes, we are live. We are on the YouTube for another episode of VypDrive. I see Genosis out there. We got Digital Slang. And there's some more people out there lurking. What's up? How y'all doing? Thank you guys for hanging out. And look at YouTube sending out the notification on time. Check out YouTube. I like that. So now everybody knows that we are live on the podcast. And I'm going to give you guys a minute or two to file into the podcast for those that want to watch. And then we'll go ahead and begin. I know this is a later podcast, but it's a little bit difficult for me to do these on a Tuesday evening and things like that because I have another podcast I do on Tuesday nights, as you all know. But that's neither here nor there. We are here and we are live. There we go. Oh, there we go. El Jefe, my head of security, is in the building. The Poet is here. Will Barlow, Joseph Hardison, CF is in the building. What's up? What's up? What's up? Jeff Hale. Hey, Jeff, how you doing, man? Jeff, you've been around a lot, man. I appreciate you. All right, cool. Got about 9 folks in the chat. I think we can go ahead and I think let me get a drink first, and then we'll get a sip of my Hawaiian punch. Then we'll get the party started. Yeah. This is crazy. Your boy's been busy AF this week. I did 2 podcasts yesterday. This is my second one today, or tonight. 2 more tomorrow night. Your boy just stays busy. It's like your boy is just out here grinding like a beast. But let's go ahead and get BMAC in here and see what we got. Woo! So, this is VypDrive episode 128. And 128 brings a fun-loving character to the podcast. We got an awesome tech creator from the Apple side of the track. He's here. He's in the back. He's coming up next on VypDrive, which starts now. What's up, people? This your boy Viper, the man about tech, and welcome back to another episode of VypDrive. This is the podcast about tech, hosted by the man about tech. And as I just alluded to in my introduction, we have an awesome tech guru in the back, ready to come to a podcast. He is an Apple aficionado, much like myself. So let's bring in Mr. BMAC to the show. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Good, Vipe. How you doing?
I am doing good. Thank you for taking the time, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on, man. I'm excited.
Oh, no doubt, baby. So, first question I ask every first time guest that comes to the podcast, BMAC, the people want to know what brought you to YouTube.
Well, that's a good question. I've been on YouTube. I was dabbling with YouTube, I think it was back in 2007. I originally started making magic trick videos, believe it or not. I was into magic back in the day. Wow. And I wanted a way to learn tricks and showcase them and really just send it to friends and family at first, but then all of a sudden I had random people commenting on the videos and they were getting excited with the different tricks I was providing for them through the videos that I was uploading on a consistent basis. So I rolled with that for a little while. Then I kind of got a little bit older throughout high school. Then I tried a comedy channel and I didn't really like doing the comedy thing. Then I went to college and studied video production and business at college. So basically took off my time from YouTube to study while I was there. A couple videos here and there, but nothing like in a dedicated business plan or channel strategy. And then after I couldn't get hired anywhere after graduating, I was like, you know what? Let me give YouTube another shot. And I started doing basically comedy videos again, but then I got tired of basically making fun of everything because it was kind of had a negative slant, but it was like, I don't know, dark comedy in a way. And then I was like, okay, there's no business behind this. So then I kind of transitioned to comedy how-to videos, like how-to videos that were legitimately how-to, but with a huge comedy slant. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to wake up every day doing a how-to video. So then I took a break, saved up a little cash. I'm like, what do I really care about? And that's what I do today, which is film, photo, tech, and lifestyle content on this channel. It's kind of a blend between all that. Every one of my videos usually has some component of all 4 of those together in it. And in other words, it could be a tech video just about the new iPhone, but I'll bring the cinematics and the B-roll and everything else. But that's, I kind of just rolled with that, and this is where we are today. And it's brought me here. It's been fun. It's been a good journey.
Yeah, man. You I think either yesterday or the day before, you just hit 150,000 subscribers on the YouTube. So congratulations
I
to
did.
you,
Thank
man.
you. Appreciate that. Thank
So
you. Yeah.
no doubt, man. So how long have you been doing YouTube?
So this channel officially, I think it's August of 2014. So that'd be BMACadelic, which has been changed to BMAC just because people were pronouncing it BMAC Cadillac, and they thought it was because I drove a Cadillac, which is not true, and it's spelled differently. But I was like, all right, you know what? BMACadelic originated with like what's going on in my mind, like kind of like psychedelic in a way, but it's like BMACadelic, what's going on in my mind, what's going on in my life. And then it just got to be kind of like too confusing as a channel name on YouTube. It's still my social media handles, so I think it still works for that, and I'll probably just keep that just because of the number of videos I have with the handle shouting it out. It's like it'd be more detrimental, I think, to change it to something else at this point. But anyway, so August 2014 for this particular channel, but YouTube in general since like 2007. I've been dabbling with this platform for a long time, yeah. But through an official like something I stuck with. This is the channel that I've stuck with, and it's been since August of 2014. So it's been fun.
That is what's up, man. That is a long time been grinding, getting it done, man. So shout out to you for getting it done.
Thank you. A lot of learning, and there's still stuff you learn, but it's part of the process.
Man.
Yeah,
I bet. So, got an interesting segue here. For those of y'all are audio only, you won't get the full effect of what I'm about to talk about. But me and BMAC, I believe, are wearing the very same headphones on our head tonight, which are the Sony WH-1000XM3. Which I believe are the best wireless noise cancellation headphones probably ever made. And Sony is actually having an audio event this Thursday, many believe, to announce the 1000 XM4s. So BMAC, I'm curious, what would you like to see in the successor to what might be the greatest headphones damn near ever made, man? These are so good.
That's the tough thing, Viper. Is like people ask me that, like, oh, what would you like to see in the next iteration of this model of headphones? I really can't think of anything I'd like to put into it. Like, they're pretty darn good as it is. I mean, they have kind of the best of both worlds. They have good codec support for when you're listening over Bluetooth. And then if you want to, like I actually plug them up to a hi-fi system and they sound great that way. I use it for live streaming. I use these for live streaming. I use it for monitoring when I'm editing video or audio. So, there's not a whole lot. The battery's good. There's really not a whole lot I could talk about them. What about you? Is there anything you specifically don't like about? Like, I don't know what they're going to do in the XM4s because I think they're already like a masterpiece of headphones.
Seriously, but there are a couple of improvements that they need to make.
Let me hear them.
Chief among them being multi-device support.
Okay.
Right now, these can only be paired to one device at a time. It is 2020. Don't need to bring up a pair of headphones that can connect to at least two devices at the same time. And I think that's the standard of Bluetooth 5.0. So I think they're coming with Bluetooth 5.0, obviously. So I don't think that could be a problem. So when they announce these pair on Thursday, they will definitely have multi-device support. So I'm not worried about that. The other thing, which is less of an important to me, but I've heard a lot of people complain about, and I kind of agree because I've tried to use them in this capacity, is that the microphones on these are not the best. You come out kind of jarbled and muffled. So they need to make the microphone quality for phone calls better with these, and I think they're going to make improvements on that. There's been a few leaks in the past week about the new things that we are going to see. Like El Jefe was saying, the update is going to be incremental at best, but the things that they're going to update on the headphones are things that we've been talking about for the past 2 years. Because that's the other thing. Sony has been rolling with the XM3 for 2 years now. So when they do announce the successors, it will have been 2 years since they announced the that we are wearing tonight. So they've had a lot of time to think about how they want to update and improve these. And it's not like they don't have competition. They got competition from Bose, Skull Candy. Microsoft has the Surface headphones, which I have. Love those. Apple is getting rumored to come out with some over-ear headphones. So the competition is there. Sony has to bring their A game, even though these are still at the top of the mountain right now, even 2 years later. But if you're going to bring out a successor, you better bring the noise. Otherwise, you're going to get embarrassed out here in this wireless headphone game, baby. It's crazy out here.
That's true. And it's funny you mention that because those are legitimate needs you would like in the XM4s. But it's funny, and this is something I struggle with as a creator. Like, I very much focus on devices like from a personal standpoint, but I know in doing what I do that I have to give the broad overall feeling behind what the different products are and the purpose behind them, especially in like the public eye. So sometimes I lose, like for instance, whenever I'm on the phone call, I'll just pop in my AirPods. That's what I use for my dedicated pair of earbuds for on the phone. So I haven't even tested the call quality. Usually when I do headphone or earbuds reviews, I don't even mention that just because it's not something I really have an expertise in. And then the multi-device support, yeah, I could definitely understand how that's important too. But for me personally, again, like I usually just, So I'm using one at any given time. So it's funny, like, yeah, you bring up legitimate things, but that's what's awesome about the community, because then you know, we have conversations like that, and it's like, wow, you're right. Like, that's not something I personally saw as a need, but it very much is. So there you go. There's the features you'll get in the XM4. You heard it here first from Viper.
And it's funny because that's why I tell people, like, when you're doing research for a product, especially if you're watching YouTube videos, you should watch multiple videos about that product so you can get all sides, because I'm going to cover some stuff that BMAC might not cover. BMAC is going to cover things that I might not cover. So it's better to watch a bunch of videos to get all the different perspectives so you can have all the information that you need when you are considering that product, that purchasing decision. Watch all the videos. Don't just watch one, because you're not going to get all the facts. You need to watch multiple videos to get all the facts, because I'm with BMAC. I don't really use my headphones for phone calls that much, but in the 1 or 2 times that I have used these for a phone call, I have noticed that the microphones aren't that good. And it's definitely been a complaint among other XM3 owners that the microphones aren't that good. So they need to improve those on the next iteration of these headphones. So you got to watch all the videos to know that, though.
Very well said. There it is. You guys can't see this on the audio version, but I'm doing a preach. Preach hands.
Too funny.
I'm nervous that they're going to do something crazy with, I mean, not nervous because it would be a good thing, but if they do something, obviously I'm assuming there will be even additional positive tweaks in terms of audio quality, which will immediately make me have to upgrade, because it's just like, I'm going to probably have to anyway. But it's like I'm content with these, so if they put even more oomph into the new headphones in terms of audio quality, which of course there's always room for improvement, but it's hard for me to decipher anything they could improve upon because it's so great across the EQ spectrum. But if they improve upon it even more, it's like, okay, yep, just I'll put in my pre-order now. That's what's going to happen Thursday. You said it's Thursday, right? This coming Thursday?
Yeah, it's Thursday. The event is Thursday. I think it's Thursday afternoon. Yeah.
Cool.
Interesting, definitely. So I know that you are a gamer. At the very least, I know that you like to game a lot on your Nintendo Switch, because I see you posting about doing Amazon streams with your Switch all the time. But I'm not here to talk about the Nintendo Switch. Even though I used to own a Switch, so I know all about gaming on the Switch and things like that. But you know where I'm going.
I know where you're going, and I'm going to get myself in trouble with this.
So we got to talk about these next generation of consoles. So obviously, for those of y'all audio, you should be aware by now. But if you're not aware, I'm talking about the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. So I'm curious to get your thoughts, BMAC. Do you have a preference? Which one are you interested in them at all? And if you do, which one are you going with, or are you going to get both? Where are you at with this?
Sure. So yeah, I'm more a gamer now than I have been in the past, and I kind of am trying to get into the mentality of, if I'm gaming, I might as well stream it, because then it's sort of like, then it's not just me gaming and kind of, you know, quote unquote wasting time. At least that's the way I look at things. I like to make content out of anything I do. So that's, you know, obviously I've been paying more attention to it as of late, but I have always been an Xbox guy at heart. Reason being, all of my friends are on Xbox Live. Ever since, I think, when I got my first Xbox, I didn't even game. I had a Nintendo Wii in high school, and I think my other console before that I was using was, I think, the PS1. Okay. I did not game at all prior to high school. Then I got the Wii, and then I had the Game Boy back in the day too, but there's a huge gap between my childhood and high school when I started gaming again. Anyway, then I got the Xbox in college, and all my college friends had Xbox, and then to this day, pretty much all my friends have Xbox. They're on Live, and I know we have a lot of cross-platform support now, which is cool, but just the ease of use between using Xbox Live and connecting to games has kind of sucked me into that ecosystem, which is funny, because you know, Viper, I'm a huge Sony fan. I use Sony for all my cameras now and all my gear, but yeah, and on paper, they look very similar. I'm not going to speak on the design, because I do think that the Xbox looks better, even though it's just a tower, if people want to say that. I do. I don't know, man. That PS5 looks like a modem or a router that's like about to take off.
Right. It looks like a futuristic router where the Xbox looks like your standard garden PC tower. That's not nothing new. Stop playing BMAC.
But it's going to be on your entertainment station. You're not even going to see it that much. I like matte black everything.
You're right. You are absolutely not going to see that regular everyday style.
That's the thing.
With your whole decor, you're not going to see it.
I want that baby to blend in. I want it to blend in. I just want it to purr doing its crazy video game graphics.
It's going to blend in like a damn ghost. You won't see it. Literally, you won't see it.
I'm going to refresh my camera real quick, Vipe. I don't know why this does this every so often. I'm very pixelated, but if I refresh it, it should fix it. So I'm going to refresh my camera.
do your thing. I don't think that's going to stop your microphone. So, yeah, you can refresh your camera. We can rock out with that. But, yeah, I cannot believe you just said that Series X looks better than the PS5. That PS5 is like a masterpiece in design. What are you talking about? Oh, my goodness. All right. But you know what? It's funny because I myself was also an Xbox guy. I had the OG Xbox. I had the Xbox 360. I had the Xbox One. So I prefer playing on Xbox too, especially since I like the controller better. And like you said, they do have the better online service. But I am still waiting for Microsoft to give me a reason this year to want to go out and get a Series X. I have not seen anything from Microsoft that makes me want to go pre-order a Series X. Where on Sony's side, I'm eager. I'm still waiting for Sony to just all Sony has to do is say, boom, we're open up. Your boy, they got Viper money. I'm ready to throw ones on Sony like a stripper, like throw ones on them, like throw them D's on them. Like, come on, Sony, I'm ready, Sony. Just let the pre-order go live already. But Microsoft, I'm still waiting. Microsoft is missing in action. Everybody keeps talking to me about Xbox Game Pass, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, but that has nothing to do with what the Series X itself can do. Right. What makes that box desirable? What reasoning? What can that box do that will make Viper want to go spend money on it? I have yet to see it, and that's my biggest problem with Microsoft right now is that they're so worried about Game Pass and trying to get you the game everywhere. They have not highlighted the value of the Series X itself, and that is what I'm still waiting for.
I hear you. Well, here's the funny thing. In full disclosure, if I was picking a console for the first time and I wasn't sucked into the Xbox ecosystem with all my friends being on it, I probably would go the PS5 route. Reason being, Xbox Live servers are absolute garbage. I think all the time I'm facing issues. Yeah, it's bad. So but again, I'm sucked into it because it's all my friends are on there. But in the last 2 months alone, I could think of 3 nights where I had to put AirPods in my ear and FaceTime audio instead of use the Xbox Live servers for communication, which defeats the whole purpose. So I'm gonna throw a little heat at Xbox for that.
Shots fired on the podcast. Oh,
big time, God. Baby, big time.
Wow. He just said Xbox servers are trash. Are you?
Yeah, they're bad. You look at there's like an outage every single week, man. It's I don't know. They're almost as bad as my connection right now on the video. I don't know. It looks good on our end, Viper, but I'm looking at the monitor.
It's just so crazy hearing you say that because like you said, one of the many reasons why all your friends are on Xbox is because we all know that Xbox has the superior online services compared to PlayStation Network. I mean, Xbox Live runs service around PlayStation Network all the time. So it's
maybe it's just might be just a gaming thing. But I will say that if there was one complaint I would make about it, it's just how I just feel like the online servers are so unreliable. There always seems to be, your party encountered an error, or we cannot connect to the party. There's always issues, and you go online, you can check the outages, and they're there. And it's just like, I don't know. When you're paying, every time that happens, I want to call up Microsoft and just be like, could I get a credit? But then they're only, would they give me like $1 because it's only $10 a month anyway?
Right.
But it's just frustrating because you pay for a service like that, you shouldn't have to deal with it. Same like with my internet right now. This is a perfect example for those of you who are watching. I'm mad pixelated. I've been dealing with internet service provider issues for the past 2 weeks where like I have business class internet. It should never dip below a certain speed, and my upload speed after a few minutes just dips completely, which is why my connection looks like this. I don't know why it does it, but it does.
Terrible.
And it's like you pay for a service, it should work. But it is what it is.
No doubt, man. Shout out to Tana So Lit for the super chat. Thank you, Tana. I appreciate you, baby. I appreciate you. Also, shout out to the 21 of you all watching the podcast live tonight. I know this is a late podcast, but we here, baby. So I appreciate you all rocking out with me and BMAC. Did I? Okay, yeah, I did. If you want to go check out BMAC's channel, the link is in the description. So definitely go check him out. His content, he is legit. Also, like Tana, if you guys want to support or donate to the podcast, super chats are open. You also have the option to become a channel member, or if you don't want YouTube to take 30% of your super chat donation, you also have the option to buy me a coffee. The link is also in the description for that. Remember, none of this stuff is actually required, but if you guys are willing to contribute, anything that you're willing to contribute, it's greatly, greatly appreciated. So I appreciate you guys rocking out on another episode of VypDrive. And thank you, Jonathan, for pasting my coffee link in the chat there. So if you guys want to, if you don't want YouTube to take 30% of your super chat, hit the buy me a coffee link. Legit.
You know what's funny? I got to speak on that real quick. You know, every so often, every like every other week or so, I get a tweet saying like, why do I have to go through BMAC to buy someone a coffee? Because the abbreviation is buy me a coffee, BMAC.
Saw that. Yeah.
So people tweet that out, and it's like, someone commented the other week, they're like, wait, why am I going through BMAC to support the channel? And I have to be like, well, I'll pass it along if it happens to come my way, but no, it's buy me a coffee. It's pretty funny.
Definitely.
BMAC.
Also, shout out to those of y'all listening on audio only this week. Thank you for listening to another episode of VypDrive with me and BMAC. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you want to go check out his content, his link will be in the show notes, so definitely go down there, check him out. He is legit. If you guys want to support or donate to the podcast, there should be a Buy Me a Coffee link also in the show notes. Not required, but anything that you're willing to contribute, greatly appreciate it. If you happen to be listening on Apple Podcasts, though, I really need you guys to go down and leave a rating or review, because that helps more people discover the podcast and help me get back to the top 200 of tech podcasts on Apple. So if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving that rating or review. That will help me greatly. And thank you guys for listening to another episode of VypDrive. So, Mr. B. Macadelic, if I go down the video catalog on your channel, there is a lot of Apple content on the channel. Not that I'm complaining, because I am the captain of Team Apple, but it does make me curious. I'm interested to know what led you down the path of doing Apple content on YouTube.
Yeah, I've always followed Apple from the beginning. I just was fascinated with their user friendliness. I remember when we first got a MacBook, I think it was 2006, 2007, around there, which, it's the funny thing is, with iMovie on that led to me making videos and YouTube. So I think a huge part of Apple led to me making YouTube videos because of how easy it was to just create content and, the user friendliness. So it's been something that stuck with me for a while, and I just think that their ecosystem and the ease of use, how all the products work together, just makes sense. So obviously I try to branch out, and I do Android devices here and there, mostly the Pixel. That's kind of been my Android device of choice, because I think if I were to switch over to Android for whatever reason, it would be the Pixel, just based on the Google ecosystem and especially the cameras, or at least as the cameras were. Not so much with the Pixel 4 when you compare it to the iPhone. But the point is that, I like to create content about what I'm doing, and that's where I think my true passion comes out. So it's sometimes difficult for me to if I have zero interest in a product, which is rare, but if I have zero interest in a product, it's tough for me to bring that kind of passion about talking about it. And anytime you give me an Apple product, I will have that passion because it's something I'm going to use on a daily basis, most likely. But that's just kind of how it comes out. Just anything that Apple comes out with is worth talking about. I mean, geez, I even did an unboxing and a review video of a credit card from Apple. And that's just because of their marketing and the way their different products work together and how they are trying to revolutionize the credit card. Everything they come out with is worth talking about and excites me, and something I usually end up using. So makes for good content.
No, hell no. No, absolutely not. You did not just pull a Marquez and unbox the credit card. You really did that?
I did that. Oh, absolutely. And I made sure to accentuate the clink as well.
Oh, dear God.
The clink, Viper. The clink. Had to unbox it.
I mean, I realize it's an Apple credit card, but you do realize that the credit card is not technically tech, right? It's just a credit card.
Well, there's tech behind it, and it is the sexiest credit card I think I've ever
Oh my God, there's tech behind every credit card. What are you talking about?
No, it is the sexiest. It has the clink, Viper. The clink. If I had my wallet in here right now, I'd give you a clink.
Wait, he's talking about the clink.
The clink, man. Although the funny thing is, and I've vented about this before, I did a 6-month review, and in that review I was like, I actually do use just the digital version more than I ever do the physical card. If I'm on a date or something like that and I want to look a little bit bougie, maybe I'll take out the Apple credit card, the physical card. But besides that, I've only used it a few times.
No. It's not about looking bougie. You want to flex with your credit card. You want to flex with the clink.
I do want to flex with the clink. I won't lie with you there.
I see you over there. I know what you're doing over there, flexing with your Apple card. You ain't slick. You're not slick. I know what you're doing.
The dinner's done. You let it clink, man. It's all about the clink.
You just want her to hear the weight of your credit card. You just want her to hear the weight, bam.
Yeah. Hasn't worked for me yet though, because I'm still single. So I guess I got to clink it better. I got to clink it harder next time. Yeah,
it's all on the wrist, baby. It's all on the wrist.
That's it. I'll practice my technique.
There you go. So you said that when you're not dealing with Apple devices, you are a Pixel fan. I'm curious, did you get a Pixel 4a, or are you going to get a Pixel 4a?
You know, yes, I will be getting it, and I've been walking around my studio here for about 5 different times today to make sure the package isn't somewhere it's not supposed to be. So I'll probably get it tomorrow because I see most people getting it today. I didn't get any tracking info for it, which I wish I did because that'll at least keep me. I lose packages sometimes, but they always end up here. But it's just annoying because mostly products that I receive or packages I receive are time sensitive, just because where I live on a town green, and it's like there's many businesses here, and they just get lost sometimes in the sense that they go to a different doorstep or something, but they usually come back. I was freaking out last week when I bought a Nintendo 64 renewed off Amazon, and it was nowhere to be found. I'm like, oh, someone's playing cart right now and enjoying that thing. But it showed up. It showed up like a day later. So anyway, it will be coming, and I'm excited to try. I still think, and based on, I was tuning into the restream of your live stream, the replay, and the way you were holding it and made it look like it's probably once again, if not, still remaining, even though it's a new phone, the Pixel devices are the best feeling phone in your hand, man. I still stand by that.
It feels so good.
Yeah, man, this is the Pixel 4. It just feels right. I love
so good. Yeah.
I love the matte. I'm talking about the 4 here, but I love the matte finish sides. I don't know. That one looks like it. You were talking about this on Jason's podcast. That's not a case on it?
This is not a case. No, this is the actual phone. This is not a case.
Oh, they're speaking my language, man. Oh,
it looks so good. It looks so good.
I'm excited to get my hands on it.
You're right, man. Hey, you gotta let us know, man. You gotta let us know because it's legit. Like I said, this is on my short list already for phone of the year this year. This is that good. This phone.
I did see your tweet about that. There we go.
This phone is serious. Like this phone's a major player this year. It's good. It is. It's so good. But I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I can't believe you're not locked into this already, given that how technical you are. But you do realize that I think, at least in the U.S. here, most of our packages are mailed via FedEx, and you know that there's a service that FedEx offers for free called FedEx Delivery Manager, right? Are you aware of this?
I don't use it for FedEx because most of my the only thing I get through FedEx usually is I get meals delivered. Most of my products come through UPS, and I do have that service through UPS, but no, I don't have that set up through FedEx. So
okay, so you are signed up for UPS My Choice.
Yes, that's correct. I got UPS. I don't think most of my FedEx alerts come from orders I've placed, so I didn't even realize FedEx has their. Shouldn't be too surprised.
You do what I do, and since you do what I do, I would highly recommend you sign up for FedEx Delivery Manager.
There you go.
Because a lot of times these brands, when they mail stuff, they don't send shipping information for whatever reason.
Right.
So, as you know, actually, UPS My Choice never worked for me, but the way it's supposed to work is that when there's a package heading your way, you should get some type of email or notification that a package is being sent to you. That's how it worked for me with FedEx. But for whatever reason, it does not work that way for me with UPS packages. But anytime I got a FedEx package coming my way, I get an email or alert that it's something being mailed to me, and we're in the building. So that way you won't lose your package because you know to look out for them and things like that. So yeah,
I will be doing that right after VypDrive because I didn't even realize. Again, not too many products come through FedEx, but it's the products that I'm not expecting that might. So yeah, I got to get on that. You learn something new every day.
Like El Jefe just said, you need to track all the services, baby. You got to track them all because you never know where a package is coming from. Never know.
Well, if it comes from DHL, I know it's probably in the next town over because I always lose packages through them. But
and I wish T-Spring would use something besides DHL, but whatever.
Yeah, there's maybe like 1 or 2 a year from them, but it's
DHL.
never.
DHL so archaic. They need to go away. I wish.
Yep.
But so the latest video on your channel has to do with something that's near and dear to my heart. It is probably still, even though I just got a new OLED TV, it's still my favorite tech of 2020, and that is the Apple Magic Keyboard. Mm-hmm. Talk to us about your experience with the Magic Keyboard because I absolutely love mine, man.
Love it. Absolutely love it. And it's funny because prior to getting it, it's not that I was against mouse support on the iPad, but I just felt that it was possible for the mouse or trackpad support to take away from the iPad OS experience. But after getting the Magic Keyboard, it's like, okay, when I'm just laying on the couch or something, sometimes it's easier. This is going to sound so superficial and ridiculous, but sometimes it's easier just to move my fingers a few inches to control the trackpad instead of having to touch the display. But it's those little things, those little differences that add up. So I've come to appreciate mouse and trackpad support on it. I think, honestly, I know it's not the cheapest option out there, but I think I might go so far as to say that, and I said so much in my review, I might go so far to say is it's almost a must-have if you're going to have the iPad Pro, just because you got to have a case. You really do need to have a keyboard. It's like you will have a nightmare of an experience if you don't have some kind of keyboard. So you might as well get both. And then the USB-C pass-through charging is awesome too. It just it becomes that much more like a legitimate, and I'm going to be careful with my wording here, but it's that much closer to a laptop setup. But I think it's better, and I said this again in my review, because you're combining the best of both worlds. You have the keyboard, you have the trackpad. It is still iPad OS, but that element of touch, for me, adds such an increased level of productivity that I just love, and it has made me, appreciate that product more than not necessarily more than I ever thought I would, but it has lived up to its price tag. I will say that, at least for my use of it.
Yes, I am in love with the Magic Keyboard. It literally transforms the way I use my iPad. And like you said, it does make it feel like that laptop replacement, even though technically it's a tablet, it's not a laptop. And I don't think for me it could be a full-on laptop replacement, but I realize for a lot of people it could replace their laptop. And when you put that Magic Keyboard on there, it really gives you that laptop feel, especially with that USB-C pass-through charging you were alluding to. I mean, the Magic Keyboard is legit. The typing experience is awesome. The keys are backlit finally. They're finally backlit. Man, I mean, it's nice to have an Apple first-party keyboard that's backlit for an iPad. Finally, thank you, God. Mm-hmm. I mean, the only issue I'm having with the Magic Keyboard is that sometimes when I'm not using the iPad, the keys still stay lit up. Because
you mentioned that before. Yeah.
And I thought it was fixed, but it is not fixed. I'm still having an issue.
It's probably a bug.
Stay lit up shorter. I don't know. But even with that minor annoyance, I mean, like I said, it's still my favorite piece of tech of 2020, which is kind of crazy. I mean, I got the Pixel 4a, I got the iPhone SE 2020, I got a new OLED TV in the back. But out of all the stuff I got this year, this Magic Keyboard is still my favorite piece of tech. It's that good.
Yeah, I love it. And I just, honestly, the iPad in general, especially now when combined with a Magic Keyboard, is just, it holds such a special place in my heart because it has taken everything that I was restricted to doing on, at least again for me, because I know there's still some things you have to do on a laptop or a desktop, but for me, it has enabled me to take all the things I was locked down to a computer setup in either a laptop or desktop on the go. So I could literally go anywhere, and I have applications on my different computers that link up to an app on my iPad that literally let me remote desktop from my iPad. So that thing has been an absolute workhorse for me in terms of upping my productivity. And the keys now, that they're actual physical keys as opposed to just kind of like I don't even know, the Smart Keyboard Folio, I don't even know what you would describe those as. They're kind of just like taps, but they do click, but not nearly click as much as the scissor keys that we get in the Magic Keyboard. Anyway, the typing experience is just, it's amazing. It's just, if you're going to get an iPad Pro, do yourself a favor and save up a little bit more cash for the Magic Keyboard because it is phenomenal. Not to say that the other alternative options out there aren't as good, but you just will not be disappointed with it. It just works so well together. And the backlit keys are just like, yes, now I could finally do things in low light, which I often do at nighttime when that's my productivity usually. My highest productivity time is at night. So I love it. Definitely a product that's up there on my favorite list for 2020.
Yeah, like you said, the fact that those keys are backlit allows you to work in darker environments, which we couldn't do before. So yeah, I am definitely a big proponent of the Magic Keyboard. Definitely one of the best pieces of tech I've purchased in the last couple of years. It's that good. It's really good.
Yep, completely agree.
No doubt, man. No doubt. So I know we were talking about earlier how you're not really that much into Android, and when you are on the Android side, you're a Pixel guy, but you're a tech guy, so I know you understand that there is a Samsung event tomorrow. So we gotta talk about it a little bit. So tomorrow is the Samsung Unpacked event for the Galaxy Note 20. We are expecting Samsung to announce the Note 20, to announce their Galaxy Fold 2. So let's start there. What are your thoughts on foldable devices as a whole?
I'll be honest with you, I'm not sold. I think that there's a tablet for a reason and that there's a phone for a reason. And I think it's cool to be able to have both in one, but I look at a tablet as basically, again, this is based on my experience, I look at a tablet for me as a laptop replacement with a tablet-capable switch up that I could do right away. And in the case of the Magic Keyboard, just take it off the keyboard, and then it's a tablet, and I could use my touch or the Apple Pencil on it. So I don't need both in one. I do think, based on what I've seen, that tomorrow's Z Fold 2
Oh, don't call it that. Good God.
Yeah, I don't understand the naming system on that. But the point is, I think that is what it should have been to begin with. I think the front looks so much better now, again, based on what we've seen. And as long as it's much more clear that you don't rip off the screen in the middle now, you'll be all right. And I think that's basically what it should have been all along. But I'm excited to see. Obviously, like you said, like since tech is my business and essentially my life now, I'll definitely be paying attention to it. And something I want to get better about it, and I already mentioned this earlier in the podcast, but I want to branch out more in the future to be able to, pay closer attention to other products outside of Apple, which I do now, but I want to do it even more so. And if that means branching into Samsung smartphones and Samsung devices, so be it. So we will see. And we'll see what tomorrow brings.
Yeah, as I've told them over and over again, I am definitely interested to see what Samsung is bringing with the Fold 2. Because some of our friends in the tech space, they could not shut up about the original Galaxy Fold. I mean, we got people like Marquez, Beck, Mac Weinbach, Shane Starnes. I mean, they wouldn't shut up. Mr. Mobile, they would not shut up about the original Fold. They were gushing, they were waxing poetic so much over the original Fold that I got to see what the Fold 2 is bringing to the table. So I'm excited to see what the Fold 2 is bringing tomorrow, what Samsung has in store. We know what the Note 20 is going to be. I'm not that excited about the Note 20. It's just an S20 with an S Pen, more or less. I'm not that. I mean, we know that they do that every year. I'm not excited about that. I am excited about the Fold because it's still a relatively new form factor, and it allows Samsung to do different things that you can't do on a normal rectangular slab of glass like this. So I'm curious to see what they're going to bring with the Fold 2, and I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited about the Fold 2 tomorrow. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they do. I think like the first time around, and as it should be for a innovative product like that, but it was basically like a trial run in a sense that in certain aspects went bad. But I do think that based on what I've seen, this might be what it should have been all along. And who knows, maybe it'll grow on me. Like I said, I personally would take a larger screen and a larger device with a thinner form factor as opposed to something that folds and becomes twice as thick. But we shall see. We shall see.
We shall. Before I forget, I just thought about it. You have a Nintendo Switch, and I have talked to Ajit and Crystal Lord this year. They have Nintendo Switches, and they have been Animal Crossing like fiends. You been Animal Crossing, BMAC?
Dude, my...
The look on his face! If only you all were listening on audio could see the look on his face. The look of shame.
The only good thing about how many hours I've dumped into that game is that it's made for good content over on Amazon Live. But I will say I've switched over to Legend of Zelda. I think we have a couple people in the chat here who tune in to all my Amazon Live streams. And I've been playing that game for the last couple of weeks, and that has caused me to put Animal Crossing on a hold. It's come out. The cool thing about that game is they come out with monthly updates, and I think they have like fireworks shows every night or something now. I haven't been on in weeks, and I feel so bad because I'm pretty sure I'm going to go in there and my island inhabitants are just going to be like, dude, where have you been? And they're all going to just leave the island because like they're like, oh, this guy's not serious about building an empire here. So my island inhabitants are going to be pretty upset. But
I am not going to let you skip off that easily. You gotta let us know, BMAC.
What?
How many hours have you put into Animal Crossing? Don't lie to people.
I can check. I honestly don't know. It's not
whatever, you know.
No, I'd be honest with you, I don't. But I you know what? While we're talking on our next subject, I will check it because it is in here, and I will check just to give you a number. To be honest with you,
yeah, baby, that's right. Pull it out.
I'll do it for you, man. I'll get you a number. The thing is, though, too, and I think it's Animal Crossing could not have come at a better time, especially earlier in this year with everything going on.
Oh yeah,
with being in our homes, and I do think I was living like a more normal life through Animal Crossing. As crazy as that sounds, I think it has helped people. It's been therapeutic in a way with quarantine and everything going on. So I'd like it, and it's such a chill game. You know, Legend of Zelda has kind of replaced that, and once I beat the game Zelda, there's downloadable content, and there's still more to do, but not like Animal Crossing where it's just like the social aspect and just it's such a good game. It's such a feel-good game, you know? But, yeah, I'm going to grab it right now and check the hours for you.
You're busted. So we know from our chat tonight, you got at least 125 hours invested in Animal Crossing.
I hope not, man. I'm gonna seriously consider. Consider my my life. If
the chat is saying you got at least 125 hours in at least 125.
I'm checking right now, man. Let me see.
All right, for those I'm listening on audio only, here, check it. The look of shame impact. The look of shame impact. What is it, babe? What is it?
170.
You know what? That's not even
How is that possible?
Not
really?
even that. That's like chump change. We got Justine with like 400 hours. Or actually,
I don't know how Justine does that with all that she's got going on. I don't know how she has time.
Crystal Moore has over 300 hours on Animal Crossing. You need to catch up, man.
Do these ladies sleep? How do they do that? I mean, that makes me feel somewhat better about my number, but the fact that 170, it's going to be probably too bright. I don't think it's going to be. Oh, is it going to?
It's not going to show up because the pixelation, but yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm all pixelated. 170, man. Whew.
I mean, hey, you got
Zelda's creeping up there too, though. Zelda's at 50. My gosh, I gotta put this thing away.
I think I put at least 40 or 50 into Breath of the Wild when I first got my Switch. So I put a lot of hours into that game.
Yeah, that's a good game, man. I've been having fun with that.
Man.
I think after I beat Zelda, I'm gonna pick. I've never played the Resident Evil games, so I think I want to play those all the way through, even from 1. I think it's available on the Switch. The one I was checking the other week, but those would be fun. I just don't play them at night. I've been told because you won't sleep. They're scary games.
Obviously, given that you are Apple aficionado like myself, we got to talk about Apple. And it's kind of a sad day for us Apple people because Phil Schiller is no longer the VP of marketing at Apple. He is, for all intents and purposes, he's on his way out. He's not leaving the company immediately, but he became an Apple fellow today, which means he'll still be working with the company. But I think Greg or Jeff Wozniak took his place, or Wozniak, whatever his name is. He's taking Phil Schiller's place, which means more than likely we will no longer see Phil Schiller at Apple Keynote, which kind of makes me sad because even though he was the one that showed such courage to eliminate the headphone jack, it was cool seeing him up there going over the different iPhone camera features and chipsets and things like that. But Phil Schiller is seemingly on his way out. So you have any thoughts about Phil Schiller?
It's always sad to see someone who's an icon at the company move on. Like when Johnny started to leave to do his thing, it's just like, it's bittersweet. You're happy for them. You assume that it's for them to explore other options that are going to be hopefully for the better for them, barring anyone being let go for obviously any negative reasons. But if they're leaving just to like branch off to other things, it's bittersweet because I think, Apple definitely has had its phases where I feel like it's continuously changing, and like the Jobs era, not just in terms of products or how the company was run, but how those details of like how people, the different leaders in the company put their thoughts and their ideas through like the software, even down to the icons, for your apps or how things work. And so I do think we've gone through several different phases, and not to put all, one phase on one individual, but it's a collaborative thing. So I don't know, anytime someone who you're so used to seeing and hearing about and just trusting for further development of the company, move on to other things, it's bittersweet. It's I don't know. It's like your favorite baseball player on a team being traded to another team. Like, you're happy for them and you'll probably still check in on what they're doing and what their stats are like, but it's not the same as them playing for your team,
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's sad. Like I said, I got used to seeing him at the keynote. So it's gonna be sad. I got kind of sad when Samsung moved away from DJ Co at their events. So there's no more DJ Co at Samsung events. Now there's going to be no more Phil Schiller at Apple events. I mean, these changes kind of suck, man.
The only constant is change, Viper. That's the only thing about it.
Don't remind me. Don't remind me. Terrible.
I'll tell you what is also quite sad is that the fact that the iMac came out today without a redesign. Man, I was holding out for that thing so badly.
I mean, there's not going to be redesigned now. I know. Silicone. I mean, the next one definitely, but no.
But with all the rumors we heard, it just made sense. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I've been seriously considering, if it was going to be a redesign, which for a while there, like, people thought it was going to be, I probably would have gotten it, and that would have become my new main computer, and I would have put my current beast of an iMac as like in my studio setup here for like streaming, so I wouldn't be capped off at like 1080 60, and that I could just do more in the studio, especially with graphics rendering and streaming and whatnot. But now that it's kind of the same design, yes, I know it's been upgraded internally and it's definitely going to be impressive, but I was just it's dated. It has a dated design. The bezels are large. I was hoping we would get at least somewhat of a design change, and if there was, I would have gotten it. But now I'm probably like, okay, it's probably for the better, so I don't have a huge hit on my bank account. So we'll see. But Time will
Speaking
tell,
of-
and like you said, with Apple's own chips coming out, that definitely shape the way for the future
yeah,
as
man.
it is.
Oh yeah. So speaking of Apple and releasing some things like that, the iPhone keynote is coming up soon. It's normally in September, but there's been some talk that it might be moved back to October since the iPhones themselves will be delayed, which would kind of make sense. But I'm curious to get your thoughts on the upcoming iPhone 12. We know that there will be things like 5G, OLED displays, better camera, things like that. But I'm curious, what would you like to see in an iPhone 12 that we don't have on iPhone currently?
Flat edges, square edges. I would love the design to have square edges on the side. I still say to this day, again, I'm a huge design guy, but I know it's not just about that these days. But I've said it several times, and I'll say it again. My favorite design of iPhone was probably the iPhone 5. Just the way it looked, just the way it felt in my hand, and I miss that. And I know that the whole curved edges is its own cool thing. I'm not even a huge fan of the stainless steel because I think it's too slippery. You compare that to something, to throw this back at the beginning of the podcast, what we were talking about, the Pixel 4 and the 4a with those matte finished sides. I just like that more. But here's the other thing. I would love for the ultra wide angle lens on the what is assumed to be the 12 Pro Max. If they up, I'm assuming they're going to change that camera spec a little bit. I would love for that to have optical image stabilization, which could allow us to hopefully, and if we have a wider aperture as well, be able to utilize that for night mode shots. I love the ultra wide. I like it more than I ever thought I did. I also love night mode. I use night mode even when it's not night, because if it's in low lighting situations, I will force it to turn on because of how great the result is. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I actually, several times on my channel, I talked about raw photography on the iPhone. I have since changed my photography workflow on the phone to be mostly just the native camera app photography, just because of how great Apple's image processing is. I'm going on a tangent right now, but that'd probably be the two things right there. The square edges, and then also an improved ultra wide. 5G, like you said, all that stuff is going to come with it too. I personally, listen, I've gotten used to the notch, and I don't think the notch is that big of a deal, but I still would like to see the notch eventually eliminated, even if it could be done through like a bullet hole, or even if it's honestly the forehead, if you want to call it that, like on the Pixel 4, didn't bother me that much. I just love the complete feel of like the finished rounded corners without a notch in the top. But again, the way that is utilized in the UI, it's not that big of a deal. The last thing I will say is something I do somewhat miss is Touch ID, just because of the ease of use with that. So I don't think there's anything definitive in terms of that coming to the iPhone 12 Pro Max based on what I've read for rumors. But I would love some kind of way to incorporate that under the display or even into the power button, just to have that as an option, especially now with obviously us wearing masks, and I don't know how much longer that's going to be an issue for, but it would be just so much easier than having to put in your passcode to have Touch ID as a backup. And I was actually going to bring this up in the podcast. I don't know about anyone else, but I have a very difficult time putting the passcode. I think I go too quick for the OS, and it sometimes skips a number, and it's like it takes twice as long to put in my passcode just to unlock the phone. So somehow, some way to incorporate Touch ID. If you give me those three things, I would fall in love with it. And then we could take the notch off of there as one of those top three things. So just the Touch ID, the ultra wide and improved ultra wide lens, and the square edges. Those would be the three like must-haves, I would say. Other than that, there's not a whole lot. Like, I already think the 11 Pro Max is a phenomenal phone to begin with. There's not a whole lot I could say negative about it, besides the fact that ultra wide needs so much light. It's basically a terrible result, anything in low light. But that is typical of how these phones come out.
It is 2020, and I think it's pretty damn archaic that the fallback to Face ID not working or Touch ID not working on iPhones in 2020 is the passcode. There is no reason in 2020 that these iPhones should not have multiple biometric points of entry. I have been harping about this for a long time. I don't know why Apple chooses one or the other. Why can't you incorporate both? Android phones do it. So if Android phone can do it, there is no reason why iPhone can't incorporate both Face ID and Touch ID in the same phone. Now, I know that there's been rumors that this might happen in 2021, but why isn't it not happening now? This should be happening now. I don't understand what the holdup is. I don't understand the thought process behind it, but it just seems like kind of archaic that Apple only allows for one biometric point of entry on iPhones right now, and it's silliness. They need to get rid of that.
Yeah, and that's a good point there too, is even if they do something like the pattern code, which Apple will probably have their own discussion of how it's not as secure, but is that really that far off from like putting in numbers, That would be a lot easier because I would be able to do that quick. And this sounds like such a tedious little thing, but when you're dealing with it on a daily basis where I literally am putting in my number too quick and it skips a number. Maybe it's just because of the numbers I've picked out and it just can't, the screen refresh can't pick it up fast enough. But I completely agree, Viper. I feel like we need other ways of unlocking the phone. And that brings up one other thing, speaking of refresh. I would like to see ProMotion 120. I think that would make sense. Would it be a deal breaker if it wasn't in it? Of course not. But I would be like, okay, like, yes, that. Now, I would feel semi-upset that it wouldn't be incorporated into at least the Pro line. And I feel like it needs to be ProMotion, especially when your competitor phones have that. And it just overall provides a better experience. Will it drastically decrease the battery? Well, that's the conundrum right now. Apparently, that's what's holding up the confirmation on if it will be ProMotion. But that's another thing I would like to see.
Yeah, I mean, ProMotion will be nice to have, but I don't think it's an absolute necessity on iPhones. It doesn't, for me, it doesn't change the way I fundamentally use my phone.
True.
So because of that,
True.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. But I understand the point of having it. I mean, it is nice to have when it's on there. I know the S20 Ultra that I had, it was nice to use it on there, although like I got used to it pretty quickly. So that is what it is.
I think it's more of a feeling thing. Like, does it make a huge difference in the way like you just said, Viper, in the way you actually experience the device? Probably not, but it does feel more quote unquote pro, if you were to ask my honest opinion of it. So I think it would make sense to put it in the Pro line. But again, would it be a deal breaker? Probably not. I wouldn't say it'd be a deal breaker. Would it make sense and should it be there? Yes. For the price point, yes. But will it be a deal breaker? Probably not. And it goes right back to the argument we have every time. People are still going to buy it.
Absolutely.
It's not going to be a deal breaker.
Absolutely. So before we get you out of here, you
Yes,
mentioned
sir.
earlier about how you shoot on Sony cameras. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on the newly announced Sony A7S III. You have any thoughts on that? Did you pre-order? What are you thinking with that?
The pre-order is in, man. It was in. It was in as soon as it hit Amazon.
That Viper. He said, "What type of question is that, Viper?"
No, I had to. I currently use a A6500. I love the camera. I've wanted to switch over to the full frame atmosphere, if you would call it that, for a while now, into the atmosphere. Into the full frame world. Exactly. Yeah, and it's just like. In doing what I do on a professional level, I just feel like it's fine to still use crop sensor cameras, and it's fine to still buy glass for them and use them for that purpose. I think the A6500 is phenomenal, and I probably am still going to use it for like vlogging or whatever. Well, maybe not because the A7S III is going to replace that, but I'll definitely still utilize it. Definitely in my overhead shots for unboxing videos, but it's just like I need that full frame like knowledge and experience behind me, and I've been talking probably for the past year, maybe even longer now. I need that A7S III. I will upgrade my camera and go full frame once that comes out. And when I watched it, the announcement, when was that? Last week? Yeah, last Monday? Last Tuesday?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was like, yep, I'm good. 4K 120, I'm good. And it's just overall going to be such a great device or camera body, I think. It's just in what it's going to provide for filmmakers and even photographers, too. Even though the megapixel is scaring some people, I think it'll still be quite impressive in terms of the results it'll give you. It'll definitely last me probably the next 4 or 5 years, so I'm excited for it. But the pre-order's in. I just hope that Amazon doesn't take too long to get it to me. It's obviously end of September now. We'll see.
Right.
The pre-order's in. I was charged for it. Now we just cross our fingers. But yes, sir, I went for it. You use what, Viper? I forget.
I am using at the moment the Sony A7 III.
A7 III. There you go. Yeah, there's been a couple times where like I almost caved and I'm like, we're not going to ever get the A7S III. We're never going to get it. But my patience held out and I ended up pre-ordering it. But anything in the full frame Sony line, it's comparing apples to apples, right? Is that the saying where it's like, it's all great stuff. I love it. And yeah, you could always argue Canon versus Sony and there's an argument for that there. But I have just always, ever since I switched from Canon, which was just the Rebel line, to the Sony A6500, I love this thing. I absolutely love it. The image quality is just fantastic, which this stream right now with my pixelation because of my horrible internet connection right now is not doing this camera any justice. But I promise you, when it is good to go, it is crystal clear. And I'm excited for it.
You're not pixelated, and it's definitely high quality. Definitely.
Yeah, it is. I promise.
Definitely. BMAC, thank you for the conversation, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Viper. It's great to be on here. And as always, thank you for all you do for the community, bringing people together. I know I've met several different creators that I didn't hear of before through your podcast, and it's just always great to have someone who, you're a friend, Viper, and it's cool to be able to talk with you about anything. You're always there supporting everyone. You're an absolute legend in the tech industry and just the creative industry in general. So it's a pleasure to be on here. And thank you so much for having me.
But I do what I can.
No, legend, baby, legend. I wouldn't have bought your mug in my collection if you weren't, man. I got that Vipe Nation mug.
That's right. You got the mug. I appreciate you, man. That's right.
You are a legend in my book. Anyone, if you see me with a mug with someone, they're if someone's mug in my collection, they are a legend in my book. So you can consider yourself on that list, Viper.
Thank you. Before we leave, let the people know where they can find you.
Sure thing. You could just look up Brian McDuff, BMAC, or BMACadelic on any social media platforms, on your favorite social media platforms. That should pop up. Hopefully my SEO is kicking in by now. Or you could just look up any of those 3 terms, and you'll see me right there. But Brian McDuff, BMAC, BMACadelic on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Amazon Live. And those are the main ones right there. Maybe more to come, but you can find me there.
Boom. Shout out to those of y'all watching the podcast live tonight. You guys have been hanging kind of late. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of VypDrive. If you guys want to go check him out, again, his channel link is in the description, so definitely go check him out. He is legit. If you super chatted, brought me a coffee, or became a channel member, thank you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting me and always rocking out. For those of y'all that watched I can't talk. For those of you that watched that like to watch this live stream or this podcast live, tomorrow night your boy has a VypDrive double header. We are welcoming both Audrey Ember and Chris from Daily Tech and coming to the podcast tomorrow night. So that should be another 2 excellent episodes of VypDrive tomorrow night. So definitely come back for that. Shout out to those of y'all that are listening on audio only this week. Thank you for listening to another episode of VypDrive with me and BMAC. If you guys want to go check out his content, again, his information is in the show notes. Definitely give him a look. If you would like to support or donate to the podcast, that info is also in the show notes. There should be a Buy Me a Coffee link in the show notes for you to click on and donate. Not required, but anything that you're willing to contribute, greatly appreciated. Also, if you happen to be listening on Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving a rating or review as to help more people discover the podcast and help me get back into the top 200 of tech podcasts on Apple. So please, if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, take a second and go down and leave that rating or review. It will be greatly appreciated. And thank you for listening to another episode of VypDrive. But until the next time, people, this your boy Viper, the man about tech. You know where to find me. So come back for more.